Welcome back to part 2 of Do All Paths Lead to Heaven? We're now going to ask the key question, where do we go when we die? All right? It's like, and you take the words, a second chance. It's like, when I started doing research on this, I was typing in, do we get a second chance after we're dead? Do we get a second chance? Are we going to be given a second chance? Okay? Most preachers that I listened to or ran into on here, it was equivocally, no, you don't get a second chance once you're dead. You have to make the choice while you're here. Now, of course, I'm going to say, not exactly sure I agree with that, okay? Because I'm thinking there's a lot of things that, biblically speaking, says that it's not necessarily going to be that way. I know the Bible doesn't talk too much about, preaching to them after they're dead, because pretty much what's going to happen when you die, you're going to be given, you're going to understand more. The more the truth is going to be there, and then you're going to realize that you were wrong. But it all is going to come down to, how is God going to judge you, okay? So I'm going to start this one off by saying, okay, let's discuss the most burning question, okay? Where do we go when we die? Remember, we should all be in constant search for the truth, okay? It's like it's like finding out when somebody tells you something that something should be saying, I don't know if that's the truth. It sounds like it could be a lie or a deception. So, and once you get the truth, and you'll be a little happier, I guess. More understanding's going to be there when it's the truth, when you're hearing the truth. Because I know when I'm hearing a lie, I cringe. When somebody says something that I know is a lie, it's like, it just makes me feel weird. Something's not right. Okay. I don't like what I'm hearing. Okay. Because it's a lie and it hurts. So, and I don't know all, I can't tell when everybody's lying or whatever. I just, for the most part, I can get a fairly good impression either way. So ultimately, we need to start with the existence of God. From the end of the last video, the girl that said, she didn't want to understand anything about God because she thinks that God had to come into existence as well. And it's like, he didn't have to. We're being told God always existed. So here's the things we would like to know about God. It's like, what do we know about him? What are his attributes? Why did he create what he created? And exactly, what is his obligation to the things he created? Okay, so I'm gonna from now on, pretty much in all the next videos, and even the first one, it's like I'm gonna ask you to step outside of your box, okay, your reference to traditional biblical teachings, okay, because it's how corrupt is the information we have now become, and that's like now. Over the translations, 2,000 years have gone by, and in the writings and whatnot, people are throwing out that you can't trust the Bibles that you're reading because they've been mistranslated and misinterpreted and all that stuff. And all the teaching that's going on today is probably based on something that's not quite true. So if you're in that box of traditional, biblical teachings, I'm saying step out. Because you have to put yourself in and tackle this question from other points of views, that people are seeing that are outside your echo chamber. Okay, my personal view on religion is that it's being controlled by humans. If it's being controlled by humans, it will always have some kind of corruption in it, okay? And I learned that when I first got started, when I wasn't hearing things that weren't gelling right, or what is this religion? the way we should be going. This is the best religion, whatever. And that's like, dude, it's just all of it has some kind of corruption in it. So, and as a, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I need to, where am I at in this thing? All right, I understand what I'm going to do now. Oh, there's my time. All right, I'm going to play something for a little bit. We'll see that it was something that I ran across I thought was kind of funny. And, take a listen. And this is dealing with second chance, having a second chance, and see if you can figure out what's going on as soon as they get started. All right, here we go.
Obviously, Jesus Christ is very, very important. His gospel is very, very important. But what happens to all the people that lived off in, the Eskimos or the people in the middle of the jungle in Brazil that never hear about Jesus Christ in their lifetime? This is a legitimate question.
Sorry, I just didn't see where that was going.
The fact of the matter is, in order for people to be saved, you have to have the gospel.
Yeah.
But some people just haven't had the opportunity to hear the gospel.
I see what you mean.
Yes.
So are they just totally screwed?
No.
Why not? What happened? How do we...
Because, okay, here's a really cool thing about our church.
Okay.
And it's that we believe that everyone will have the opportunity to hear the gospel before they're placed in, heaven or part of heaven. We have a whole episode about heaven, so watch that. But we believe that everyone has an equal opportunity, whether they had that opportunity on the earth or if it's in heaven. So in this episode, we're talking...
So here you go. They got this group of people. They belong to a church that thinks that you need to get a chance to hear the gospel while you're alive on earth, and you're going to get another opportunity to hear the gospel to choose after you're dead. Okay? So, and it's like, and again, the questions keep coming back to when you talk about hearing the gospel, accepting Jesus. Okay? There's going to be people out there that haven't heard, or they're raised in a culture that doesn't teach Jesus salvation, and they tend to believe, they're going to believe whatever their families believe, and they just follow suit. And how are they ever going to, those people that are so isolated, how are they ever going to be able to get it right so they can get past that hurdle that says, if you don't accept while you're alive, then, you're going to go to hell, which is the waiting, the holding cell, and then you're going to have to deal with it, in the afterlife. So let's press on.
About afterlife ministry. I don't have my family. I don't have a lot of ancestors who are pioneers or whatever, and I still have a lot of temple work to do, but I know that my family members, even though they weren't members of the church on this earth, they're still going to have a chance to, whether they want to accept or reject the gospel, they can do that.
And I want to preface
this
that
up here kind of gives it away too,
about
right here.
Spirit world and afterlife ministry, but we do know a few things, and that's what we're going to share. The Book of Mormon mentions a few times about the spirit world. The Bible talks a few times about the spirit world. The Doctrine and Covenants gives us even more clarification. So we have a quote that says, after death, our spirits will have the same attitudes, appetites, desires we had at the time of our physical death on earth. And so pretty much the person you are when you die is the person you are in the afterlife. The same attitude, same personality, same desires. And I think that's kind of gives me hope, that all of this work here on earth, all of the growth I'm having here is for something, still be me. And I think that also lends to the understanding that you can still keep learning, from spiritual missionaries, that you can still learn about the gospel even after you're dead.
Yeah.
Never stop learning. Never stop growing. And if someone can tell me what that is referencing, I will be extremely impressed.
Get a David Star.
I hope someone
You'll get
in
a
the
gold
comments
star. Get it?
knows.
David
I
Star.
don't know.
Start.
Okay, well, I'm gonna...
We got to point out, though, that we got to point out physical death, because some people might not understand what physical death is according to our doctrine. So right now we believe that your body is combined with the spirit, okay? Physical body and a spirit, which is also something physical, but a different kind of physical than we understand. What was it?
Sorry, I'm just
That
that is deep stuff. What? No, I'm just saying that's like a... No, bro, stop. I'm saying that's such a very, really intense concept that it's like a whole other thing.
And that makes
Yeah.
your soul.
Yes, your spirit combined with your body is our concept of what a soul is. When you die, your body goes into the ground and disintegrates. Your spirit goes to a place that we call the spirit
Unless you
world.
freeze your body, then it won't.
Oh my gosh, like Han Solo.
Cryogenics. Okay, continue.
It's still going to stay here, though. Right?
True.
Which, Anyway, spirit world.
Well, Han Solo wasn't
I don't know why I'm being
dead.
so weird about
Han
this
Solo was not
episode.
dead. He was very much alive in that carbon.
All right, let's pause it here. Okay, when I was listening to this, it's like some of it, they starting to get a little off into ridiculous world. But as you can see, this is a Mormon belief, and the terminology you're going to be, the terminology that I have been taught. When you have, like, I would call it the spirit realm, they call it the spirit world, and it's like, well, okay, so basically what you're dealing with here, you got the spirit realm is heaven, and technically Sheol and all of that could be considered a part of heaven. So it's like, because there's the first heaven, second heaven, third heaven, okay, so there's layers of heaven. You got, whenever the Bible mentions what's in heaven, what's on earth, and what's under the earth, okay, is where the under the earth is where you get into the underworld realm. And typically that's going to be your Sheol, Hades, hell, okay? And, the holding places, the pit, the abyss, all these terms and references I'm going to try to get into, as we continue on. I don't know how much more I want to play of the Mormon thing, but it is basically what they're going to say is the preaching in the spirit world. So again, are they mentioned soul too? That's going to be coming up, because from what I've been falling into is like a soul. Does everybody have a soul? Is a soul a thing? And it just gets me thinking, the soul is a big subject to talk about, because I'm hearing different views on how a soul can be. Is it immortal? Is it not immortal? And those kind of things. And where did it come from? Can it be thrown in the lake of fire and burned up and destroyed and all that stuff? So we're going to cover that as we get into it. And again, another big word is belief. Okay, we're gonna be tackling a little bit into the beliefs. And from what I understand is a lot of times you're going to read stuff, you're going to take things in, what you're learning, and then you're going to decide whether or not you believe it or not, okay? So a lot of people will say, well, I believe that this is going to be this way, and I believe that this, and I believe this is this way. So, and I would always say, what are you basing that on? Where are you getting your intel from? So, that's always a big thing. So we'll watch a little bit more of this, because I know still I'm limited on time, so we'll probably be doing many parts to this subject, because it's a lot of studies that I did looking up on. So
That's true.
I'm so proud of you.
So your spirit separates from your body. Your body goes in the ground. Your spirit goes somewhere else. Thank you for that.
I know, that was perfect.
That was
I
great.
just came up with that.
That needs to be canonized.
Okay.
That was great. All right, but we're going to read about, from the Book of Mormon, what happens to your spirit after you die. Alma 40, verse 11. Now, concerning the state of the soul between death and resurrection, behold, it has been made known unto me by an angel that the spirits of all men and women, as soon as they are departed from this mortal body, yea, the spirits of all men and women, whether they be good or evil, are taken home
Sounds
to that
like
God who gave them
Monty
life. It shall
Python.
come to pass that the spirits of those who are righteous are received into a state of happiness, which is called paradise, a state of rest, a state of peace, where they shall rest from all their troubles and from all care and sorrow. Sounds pretty good.
So this paradise is where you go if you've lived for the gospel and you're received by God. But there's also another place called the spirit prison, which is less joyful, I'd imagine, just by the word prison. And we know about it because of 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 18 and 20. And it says, "For Christ also hath once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit, by which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison, pretty much what it's saying is that Jesus Christ preached unto the spirits in prison. And so we don't know a lot about spirit prison.
Okay, and that's going to bring us back